Francis Warren here with Pro Boxing Fans. We had the pleasure of sharing a train carriage on
Train buddy.
Francis. Train buddy. Lots of hard work going in before in preparation. We've got 6 Brits on this card fighting for title, 2 Commonwealth, 1 world title. Talk us through the card.
I'm glad you mentioned it. You're actually the first guy to mention the fact that this is an all domestic title fight card. Josh, Galahad, Zelfa and Leon, and JJ Metcalf from Jason Wellborn. All Brits fighting for titles.
So let's start at the top of the card. Josh versus Galahad. There might be a discrepancy in their pedigree and their sort of big time experience. But still going to be a close fight on the night, do you think?
Listen, it's a fight that's been built up since the amateurs. Josh Warrington's had, he won a world title against a very seasoned and very good world champion in Lee Selby. In front of, Ellen Road, his boyhood football club, 25,000 fans, and he couldn't have written a script like that until we get to December when he beats Cole Frampton in Manchester, defends his title against, arguably one of the pound for pound best fighters to come out of the UK, and then you fast forward to now where he's fighting his mandatory challenger, who he beat twice in the amateurs, comes from down the road, and they really don't like each other. So it's kind of, it's this script that Josh Warrington is not, no one else is writing it for him. He's creating history for himself, and the way he's doing it, in the manner he's doing it, it's spine tingling. I absolutely love the fella. He goes out, he wears his heart on his sleeve, he wears Leeds crest on his heart, and he just loves being his champion. But the fella he hasn't changed since he beat Martinez, Salen. He's just getting better and better.
Can I just ask, was there any point where, because Kid Galahad's basically said that you wanted to maybe vacate in order to fight somebody else, was that ever on the cards to maybe go vacate and maybe fight Valdez, that kind of thing?
What does he know?
You tell us.
You've just asked me a question that I don't know the answer to, because there was no question of ducking Kid Galahad at all. And that's as far as it goes. No question of it.
With the unification on the horizon, there's a big part on Saturday, of course. How important is it for complacency not to set in for Josh?
It's vital, because if he gets this wrong on Saturday, I'm not going to say it's all been for nothing, because he's had a wonderful career. Not just the world title fights, but the whole, British, European, WBC International, going on to win the IBF World title. That's a career in itself. However, he wants to prolong that and keep it going. And getting it wrong against your mandatory challenger is, it's almost like a schoolboy error. You just don't do it. You don't take the eye off the prize. Your unifications are next, but they're next. No one mentioned it in the press conference, because there's no, we don't want to disrespect anybody. You don't want to take the piss out of someone who's earned their shot. Kid Galahad went over to the States and beat a very good Tucker Clary, that's how you get it wrong. That's how you get it badly wrong. There's no comparison to anybody else, because everyone's their own man, everyone's their own fighter. But there's no way that Josh himself or anyone around him would take their eye off the prize, which is defending his title for the second time on Saturday.
Moving down the card, Barrett and Woodstock. I think it's got potential to steal the show, this fight. I'm just wondering, from Zelfa's point of view, was there any, because he's recently returned from injury, I think he suffered maybe Achilles pull, I think he had.
Correct.
He's jumping straight in a 50-50 fight that could really, have an impact.
He had a little comeback win, I think he had an 8-rounder on a Black Flash Promotions show, his uncle and trainer Pat Barrett shows, who's worked tirelessly with Zelfa. Spoke to him regularly, as I spoke to Leon regularly, and they both really, really fancy this. It's one of those that could have let sort of boil for a little while. Maybe the defeats they both suffered maybe makes you sort of accelerate a little bit, because you want to make sure that they both had they both had one win each, come back, both pretty much on an even keel, and now I think it's a good time to do it. Everyone wanted it, especially the fighters. Both their teams around them wanted it, and it didn't take very much to put it together.
When do you sling Sam Bowen into this super feather mix?
Well, they're chasing him. Sam's, I think, at the moment, is British and WBO Intercontinental Champion. Sam's got a tough fight against Anthony Kakachi on the 3rd of August. They're chasing Sam. I think, perhaps by the time they get to being, because Sam's, that's his mandatory Kakachi. So, they might have to sit tight and watch Sam go on to the next level, and be challenging for world honours. I think Archie Sharp's the one that they've both got to keep an eye on. He's got a fight with Jordan McCorry on the 13th of July. So it would be nice to do the winner of that against the winner of that. That would be a great mix. Listen, we're very lucky. We've got, and I like Jordan McCorry as well. I think he's a terrific fighter. I think what he did against Sam Bowen was very. He's not be belittling him, admirable, but he really put his bollocks on the line, and I love what he did. And as soon as he walked out the ring, I said to his management team, I said, we'd love to have you back. And we've done it straight away with Archie. So, winner of Archie and Jordan against the winner of Zelfa and Leon's a big fight.
Moving down the card again, JJ Metcalf and Jason Wellborn. I thought Jason Wellborn was doing quite well against Jarrett Hurd out in the States in December. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that fight.
Just got clipped. He just got clipped. It was on the undercard of Tyson's fight with Deontay Wilder, and he just got clipped. I don't think anyone expected him to win, apart from himself and his team, which you're not there if you're not there to make numbers up. But he rolled the dice, he took the shot. Was a little bit surprised at it because obviously he had two very good wins against Tommy Langford. Maybe could have capitalised that on the domestic level. However, the money he made in one fight, probably would have had 3 or 4, 5 maybe, at domestic level to get there. So I totally understand why you'd do it. Got himself noticed and he's come straight back to a tough fight with JJ Metcalf. I think JJ's a level above him though. I do. I think JJ's capable of, if it was JJ fighting Jarrett Hurd, I think that would have been a different story. But JJ needs some fights under his belt at championship level. He won the WBC International Silver, and he's now going for the vacant Commonwealth title. A couple more title fights, and we'll start seeing JJ climb those rankings.
Let's have a little look elsewhere in your stable at the moment. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. I know there was a bit of back and forth. Frank said there's an offer has been made to Joe. Any update on that?
No. I know my dad spoke to Joe, and I think Joe's basically said they've got a couple of bits and pieces outlined going forward, but a lot can change and a lot can move. And a week's a long time in politics, but a day's a long time in boxing.
Right. Yard Kovalev. Can you give us an update on what's going on? Can you give us because first bid's been called again? Is that right?
Yeah, first bid's been called again. So we just have to wait and see what happens with that.
Okay. And this is something I tried to tease out you on the train, but you weren't having any none of it. WBO World Title.
No, it's 2v3, and that's where we are at the minute.
So Francis Warren, thank you for being
absolute pleasure. Thank you, mate. Top man. Cheers.